Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of your favorite YouTube channel and Ravens podcast. Talking Ravens all day, every day with your host, Justin P. And my $1 million MVP co host, Miss Shannon Finch. This is episode 106 for the YouTube channel. For the audio version, the links are right there in the description below. Season 2, episode 14. Like I said, if you can't watch live, check it out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, all that stuff like that. Like I said, the links are right there below. And also below that is myself, Dave, and Shannon's social media platforms where you can follow us at. You know what I'm about to say. Make sure y'all share it, like, subscribe, all that good stuff like that. It's we had a tough loss Sunday. So Sunday.
Mhm.
Oh man. So we're gonna get into it with our recap. So I'm going to pass the torch to Miss Shannon.
Okay. So like you said, Justin, that was a rough day on Thursday. On Sunday. And I think that we should use today as a therapy session to just get through it, talk through it, and let it be what it's going to be at this point because there's nothing else we can do about it, right? So let's start off
Hmm.
the review show, how we normally do, which is the good, bad, and ugly. So give me your good, bad, and ugly in the AFC Championship.
The good was the defense. They stood up and they getting marched down on. They started they buckled down. Whatever adjustments need to be made, they buckled down. They got stops. The other good is Zay Flowers. Regardless of the mistakes he made, the kid had 100 yards receiving.
Hmm.
He let his emotions get the best of him. He made the Taunton penalty. Then he tried to make up for it. With the diving touchdown. Because normally he probably would have secured the ball and just got tackled, but he was just trying to make up so much because he messed up. So and
Hmm.
Snead made a good play. What else? And special teams, Justin Tucker, he did all right. Bad was tackling was a little piss poor first half, but like I said, they got together. Lamar for the most part, he had an okay game, but like I said, held on to the ball too long. Should have got rid of it and should have took off more, like you said, Shannon. Every time we play KC, they try to make it to a Lamar versus Patrick show, and I hate that. And I hate that. And that's not
Hmm.
football. This is not the NBA. Them two cannot guard each other. They cannot play each other. So it's like stick to what works for us. That's Buffalo did it, and that's why Buffalo almost won the game outside of a mishap. But
Hmm.
definitely that he didn't play his game, so he let the critics finally get to him at the wrong time. And ugly play calling, man, play calling. Like Gus only had 3 carries. You get Delvin Cook and don't incorporate him at all. Like I don't get it. Like you seen how he looked against Houston. You see he almost broke one for a touchdown. And this situational play calling could have been a lot better to help Lamar. You see a quarterback getting a little rattled, calm him down with short completions, run the ball, and get everything going. The same way how we did against Houston, we should have did the same thing versus Kansas City. But like I said, every time we play them, it's like people just forget how to play football and forget how to coach football. It never fails. Instead of just playing. So that's
Hmm.
my good, bad, and ugly.
Okay, we pretty much have the same, some just kind of different categories. So for the good, I have the second half defense and Zay Flowers. Like you said, regardless of the mistakes that they made, um, he's kind of like the only one that showed up in that group, that unit. And if it wasn't for him, I don't know what type of day it would have been, for the offense. The bad, I have the offense and the play calling and the lack of execution across the board. Like it was everybody collectively. Like I don't know what was going on with the offense on Sunday. It was just bad. And that was the worst day to have a bad day. And I just feel like the refs were also bad. Now I'm not one to blame the refs and say that's why we lost. I just feel like they weren't consistent with the calls across the board. If you're gonna call taunting, and I'm not saying that Zay Flowers was not taunting, but if you're gonna call taunting on him, you probably could have called taunting on Travis Kelsey a couple of times too, and you didn't do that. And there's a lot of other things that we can point to that they didn't call. But guess what? Maybe Kansas City might feel the same way, that it was things that they missed on our side that they didn't call. So like I'm not the fan to blame the refs. I just don't feel like they were really consistent in that game on Sunday. And for the ugly, I had the turnovers. I feel like without the turnovers, I think that could have been a different game. I mean, it was already about to be a different game just with the even with the penalties that Zay Flowers had. But you just can't turn the ball over, and that's something that we talked about being a key to winning a game. You say it every week, and we did that, and that was bad. The penalties and our attitude. I felt like too many guys got out of character, especially defensively. Like they let them get in their heads. I didn't like that at all. And offensively, I just didn't feel like we were a cohesive unit. Like I don't know what was wrong. I don't know. That's why I was wondering. Like, was the moment too big? Like, how does that happen? How do you talk about the Super Bowl all year and get to that point, and that's the performance that you put on? And to me, it's just a whole lot of blame to go around, and we're going to get into that in a later topic. But I just feel like it took me back to how I felt about this offense early in the year, and we had plenty of conversations about that throughout the year. I thought they turned the corner after the bye week, but clearly they didn't. So that's my good, bad, and ugly.
Okay, well said.
All right, so let's get into the position grades. What grades do you give the coaches for the game on Sunday?
Mike Macdonald kind of helps this grade a little bit, but I'm gonna give them a goddamn F. Honestly, it'd have been worse if we made adjustments. But why do we gotta always wait to the second half, offensively and defensively, both? Like correct it right then and there, and that's what Harbaugh comes in at. I get it. You want to let your coaches do their job. That is fine. You can still let them do their job or still do yours. Just like you just sitting there and just they'll figure it out. No, because in the day if things keep going south, you want to be the one that's going to be looking for another job. Like so, you got to go up to Todd Markin and like, hey man, run the football. Why Gus only got 3 carries? Hey, can we do something with Travis Kelsey? You know what I mean? Can we make sure we cover Pacheco out the backfield? You the head coach, everything falls on you at the end of the day. Like so, definitely an F, man. Definitely, like we can't keep waiting until we get shot to finally want to shoot back. Like shouldn't have to take that.
Hmm. So I'm giving the coaches a C, and the reason they get a C, I think, is because of the defensive coordinator. I don't know many teams that can hold that offense, that quarterback, and Andy Reid being a play caller to 0 points in any half of a game, and they were able to do that. Special teams, I feel like we did enough. Like it wasn't like we gave up any big plays or anything crazy like that. So the special team coach, he didn't do anything wrong. What really brings the grade down and makes it just an average day for the coaches is the offense and ultimately John Harbaugh. You cannot continue to allow the same BS to happen time after time after time. And that's the reason why you have so many people calling for your head right now, because at this point, we don't have anybody else to point to as the constant but you. And people were posting, we saw the different posts about how we've ended the seasons and the playoffs for the past few years. And it's the same thing. And if we all at home can see what's happening here and we're wondering, why are they not running the ball? As the head coach, how can you not wonder that? How can you not say something, particularly when at halftime you said we needed to run the ball more? So as the game is going on and you see that's not happening, why don't you address it right then and there? Like you said, I'm tired of having to wait until the second half to make adjustments. Make the adjustment right then and there. Great teams and great coaches, that's what they do. When you get in those moments, you might not get another opportunity. And Harbaugh should know that because you haven't been to an AFC championship in how long? So you don't know when you're going to get back there again. You get in that game and you allowed that to happen. That's how I look at it. I feel like the answer he gave after the game was BS, but it's typical Harbaugh because he's always protecting other people. He's not going to sit up there and say, I told them to run the ball, but they didn't. Because even if you told them to run the ball and they didn't, who's the boss? Who is the boss? So, in my opinion, John Harbaugh, you allow that to happen. And this is like the third or fourth time since Lamar has been here that this has happened. And we're going to look at you as the head coach because if we can see the issue, why can't you? You know what I mean? So I was frustrated. And I've defended John Harbaugh a lot on this podcast. I even felt like this was the best job that he did all season. But to allow us to lose in that fashion, like we were just sitting there watching the game piss away when it was never out of reach, I got a problem with that. I got a big problem with that. So the only reason they have a C is because of Mike and the special teams.
I got you.
Outside of
I
that,
got
outside
you.
of that, I ain't like nothing that they had going on. That was just horrible. It was horrible, and nobody could get out of their own way. All right, so let's move on to
Well
Lamar.
said.
What grade do you give Lamar?
C minus. C minus. Because he did have 280 yards and he had like 50 some rushing yards, but it could have been more because, like I said, he missed some check down because he wanted to get home run throws instead of just taking what was there and taking off. He could have had easy 300 and 100 easily, like I said, but he finally let the people get in his head instead of just playing football. Like they're not in the day. The most important stat is trying to win. The hell with
Hmm.
trying to throw for 500 yards and all that. Like I said, they finally got to him at the wrong time. If Mahomes is the same, it's the same old deal. They try to make it a quarterback showdown instead of making it Ravens versus Chiefs. Is always trying to be Lamar versus Patrick Mahomes, and I hate that with a passion. So, like I
Hmm.
said, it wasn't a super horrible game, and it wasn't a super good game either because the interception was definitely stupid. I don't know what the hell he saw on that. I know I like Lisa got grabbed. I get that, but you still go somewhere else with the football, take off, or check it down. It's like 3 points. Let the defense try to get a stop, then you get it back. But yeah, so C, definitely C minus.
And I'm giving Lamar a C. Like you said earlier, you look at the numbers and it'll say that Lamar didn't have a bad day. But to me, he just didn't do enough. And I don't think it's wrong to expect more from your soon to be two-time MVP, your all pro quarterback, top five quarterback. You know, that's what separates good from great. And what builds your legacy is what you do in the playoffs. And unfortunately for Lamar, you're going to go through another offseason of people questioning you and your ability and if you're worth the money you received and things of anything. And I hate to say it because we don't do this with everybody else, you know what I mean? But we know that we can be unfairly judged by a lot of people. But I feel like with Lamar, it's going to happen like it's happened with Peyton Manning, like it's happened with Aaron Rodgers, like it's happened with Tony Romo or Philip, anybody. And now we're getting to it with Josh Allen and Justin Herbert. Lamar's going to be no different. You had it right at the palm of your hand, and you couldn't do anything to stop the bleed at no point. And when we look at like, these still shots and different replays of the game on Sunday, you can look at different situations and say, why didn't he run right here? Or why did he throw it to Likely? Like you mentioned, the looking for a pass interference. I think I hate it when Joe Flacco and Torrey Smith would do that. I did. I just feel like throw the ball, do what you're going to do. And if it gets called, it get called. But to throw the ball and be looking for a penalty, I don't think that was smart when we didn't even have to do that at that moment. Then we turn the ball over. And it doesn't make anybody look bad but Lamar. We just need a little bit more from Lamar again. Lamar had a great season. I don't want to make it seem like he's not um, worthy of praise because he is, but I just feel like he fell short on Sunday and we needed more from him that day. All right. So what grade do you give the offensive line?
Yeah, sorry about that, Dave. Because it's a string, y'all be tripping. So what was your final grade this shit? Yeah, what was your final grade? I know I gave him a C minus. What you give him?
I gave him a C. I gave him a C. You didn't hear anything I
A
said?
C. Okay. And not heard majority of it. It was just breaking up.
Oh
I
yeah.
definitely heard you say he deserved like he get the praise. He got to take the blame too, and
I
that's
just
true.
expect
Like I
more.
said, because like I said, he cost us 7 points. So like I say, he's definitely not blameless. And I defend
Hmm.
Lamar probably more than anybody.
All right. So what grade do you give the offensive line?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
All right. Hold on 1 second. I'm about to switch over to my phone.
Okay.
All right, I'm back. Go ahead, Shannon.
So, what grade do you give the offensive line?
The offensive line, I'll give them a C plus. They didn't give Lamar the much time he needed, and then the running lanes wasn't there like they were supposed to. So yeah, C plus. It could have been a whole lot better.
Hmm. And I gave them a D for every reason that you said. I don't feel like they did a good job protecting Lamar. Like I said, the run game, it's hard to really to judge them on that when I don't feel like they did that enough. But it was just disappointing to see them perform like that when they've been one of the top units all season long. Like I said, the offense as a whole just picked a bad day to have a bad day.
I totally agree with you, Shannon. I totally agree with you.
And what grade do you give the running backs?
It's hard to get them a good grade because, like I said, it was rarely used. But I'll say B because Gus did get yards when he got the ball. Like I said, 3 carries, but he had like 18 and 19 yards. So yeah, it was like 6 yards a carry. So yeah, so for just for the little bit of carries they got, so I'm gonna give them a B. Just because, like I said, they didn't really get a chance to run the ball.
Yeah, I agree. And for that reason, I gave them a C. I mean, they really couldn't contribute, but it was more about lack of opportunity. So it's hard to really judge them harshly or to give them extra points because they really didn't get to do much. And we know what they've been able to do collectively all year. I just feel like with more touches, it could have been a different game. But I'll give them a C. I can't really fault them for how things went on Sunday. And what grade do you give the wide receivers and tight ends?
I give them a B plus. They did make enough plays. Lamar could have definitely got it to him sooner, because Bateman definitely was breaking up on his routes. Having Andrews back kind of hurt everything because he get relied on him. That's what
Hmm.
they should just easily brought him back because
Like we said.
Likely was there because Likely was doing a pretty good job. Like I said, Odell and them doing. Odell has a couple catches. And like you said, Zay went off. So just because Zay went off, I get him a B plus.
I gave him a C. For the same reasons you just said. I just feel like it could have been, and that's the hard part about judging this game in the offense because I just feel like they still could have contributed more, but also
Hmm.
feel like we shouldn't have put. I talked about wanting to ease Mark back. You know what I mean? Like we talked about that last week, and I don't know that that benefited us. I feel like a lot of guys could have done more, but then I also feel like was it more of a Lamar not saying them thing? We see certain plays where guys were open and getting open, and I don't know what Lamar was saying or how he didn't see them, and maybe it could have been a different game if Lamar was, seeing the field differently. So it's just hard to really judge them. I'll give him a C. I mean, it could have been better, but Zay had a day. He made costly mistakes, but he's a rookie. It's expected sometimes, but he had a day. Great performance.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
And what grade do you give the defensive line?
B plus. Like I said, they did stop the run for the most part. Pacheco didn't have like 150 yards, and they got pressured. And we sat Mahomes maybe twice. Like I said, had they did it in the first half, they would have had an A. But I'm gonna give them a B plus for a strong second half.
Hmm. And I gave him a B for the same reasons. We limited their run game, which is something that we knew was a strong suit of theirs. Their offense over the past couple of weeks. We got some pressure and we got to Mahomes a few times. So I can't really say they had a bad day. Like you said, it could have been a higher grade if it was something that was done earlier. But overall, they did well.
Yeah, yes, indeed.
And what grade do you give the linebackers?
I'll give them an A because they was flying around making tackles, like so they could only do with so much. Could have probably covered Kelsey a little better, but they got second half he didn't do nothing. So yeah,
Hmm.
they definitely was flying around making tackles. Mahomes didn't kill us on the ground like he did Buffalo. So yeah, I give them an A. Like I said, they was out there playing hard. So
And I gave them a B. I basically have the same reasons that you said. I do feel like they contributed to some of the pressure and stopping the run. They were tackling, they were getting there. But I just felt like Travis just was. He, it seemed like every target he had, he caught. I think I saw it was 11 targets, 11 catches. I just don't understand how something like that can happen. And of course,
yeah,
he's a great tight end. It's not nothing against him. But we talked about our middle linebackers all season. I just feel like could have been a little bit of switch up things, and maybe things couldn't have got as ugly as it did earlier. But overall, I don't think they had a bad day. I just wish we could have contained Travis a little bit more. I do.
I agree.
He had costly penalties. Like I was actually surprised at the way that they were acting, particularly Roquan. But then we got to remember he's still a young man. You know what I mean? When he's 26, something like that, he's still a young man. He hasn't had too many times to be in a game like that. So he kind of let it get in his head, and he was doing things that were out of character too.
Hmm.
Could have been a different day if he wouldn't have done certain things, but he wasn't the only one. So, but I'll give him a B.
That's fair.
And what grade do you give the DBs?
B plus. Terrible first half. Second, good second half. Mahomes really didn't do much the second half. They were coming up tackling the second half, breaking up passes. But the first half, like I said, they let Travis Kelsey just walk down the
Mm-hmm.
field. I think Cal Hamilton played amazing, so that's why they get a B plus because he came down. He probably saved the game from being a blowout early because, like I said, had they get that 4th and 1, that's they go up three touchdowns right there, three
Mm-hmm.
possessions.
Yeah,
So yeah, off of his performance alone, they definitely get a B plus because, like I said, he was all over the place.
I gave him a B. I mean, Kyle Hamilton is the reason why the grade is what it is. He had a day. We talk about Zay having a day. Kyle Hamilton had a day as well. I was kind of disappointed that it was another game with no interceptions. Those are like game changing plays, and it could have made a difference for us and something that we were pretty good at all season. But
Yeah,
ultimately, it wasn't a horrible day, like you said. If it would have been, we could have done more in the first half. It probably could have been a different game. but they definitely tightened up in the second half, and that's all you can ask for going against that quarterback and that head coach.
Mhm.
All right, and what grade do you give special teams?
They get a B plus. The punts were good. Made the field goal. We stayed in our lanes for the most part. We didn't give up no big returns, so I give them a B.
I have the same grade, and for the same reasons. We didn't give up any big plays, many big plays. Stout had a day, and Justice Tucker, he did his job.
Agreed. Yeah, he definitely Stout definitely put the ball out there. He definitely punted.
Hmm. All right, so let's get into a few topics to end the show off. So we've kind of been talking about the offense, and we know what everybody's been saying over the past 2 days now. So my question for you is, who do you blame for the offensive woes in that game on Sunday?
It starts with Todd Monken because he's the coordinator. It starts with him. Gus, why does Gus have three carries? Why did we sign Delvin Cook and not going to use him in the championship game? Like you let him run against the Texans and he looked good. He looked good. He showed you he still got it. It wasn't him. It was the Jets' terrible offensive line. Justice Hill should not be your main back. Like we keep like just because he been playing okay, but he misses blocks. He's bound to drop a pass. He know he's good for a fumble. So it should have been Gus Cook and a little bit of Justice Hill. So that falls on Todd Monken. And then, like I said, you should have had Andrews coming in here and there. Likely still should have been the guy. Well, it was I was talking to one of my homeboys, Gerard, the other day. He was like, "Man, why?" He's a Bears fan. And he likes the Ravens too. He was like, "Why?" He said, "Why we ain't going butt formation? Like, why we ain't drag people across the field? You see, they was playing that man to man. Why not flare people out? Or where was
Hmm.
Pat Ricard at? He didn't do none of that. Like, I mean, it was the power run game. We should have just wore them down. If you want to come in there with a light box, wear him down. You got a 300-pound fullback. Gus should have had at least 15 to 20 carries.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Like it falls on Todd Monken at the end of the day. Yes, Lamar threw the interception or whatever. That was stupid. But in the day, Todd Monken should have put him in much better situations. Like Andy Reid put Mahomes in great situations. Even no matter how good of a player is, your coach still got to put you in good position. So it for definitely
Hmm.
falls on Todd
Whew. So for me, it's a lot of blame to go around. And a lot of times when you speak about the offense, people feel like you're taking a shot at Lamar, and that's not at all what I'm going to do.
Monken. No.
For me, it starts with John Harbaugh. Like I
Yeah.
said, when we were giving them grades, ultimately it's going to always fall down to you. It's going to fall on you because you're the only one who can say yay or nay about everything that's going on that football field. And at no point, even though you knew and you said at halftime what we needed to do in the second half, and you saw that it wasn't being done, and you allowed it to still happen. When you look at what happened in that 49ers game, if that was the Ravens, like we probably would have been a blowout because the 49ers still did what they did while trying to come back. They didn't stop being them. They didn't change their
Hmm.
identity because they were down. We were down 10 points. That's not nothing for you to really be like freezing up and getting nervous about. So I'm starting with John Harbaugh because, like I said, you're the head coach. You're the only one who can really finalize anything that happens on that field. And because you didn't stop the bleeding, you're number one. I'm not getting away from that. Number two is Todd Monken. First of all, next season, if he's here next season, I'm assuming he's going to be because I don't know if I didn't hear anything about him getting any other job interviews. But sir, please come down out that box, please, because even when you think back to last week when they were talking about going in at halftime and Lamar was saying that he talked to the quarterback coach and was saying what he would like to do. Why are you having that conversation with the quarterback coach? I mean, that's your coach, but he can't really make any final decisions on what you can or can't do if your offensive coordinator is the one making the decisions on what you guys are going to do. If Todd Monken was actually on the field, he could have conversations with John Harbaugh in the game. He could have conversations with Lamar in the game. How many times have we heard about headphones and things going out in a game? If communication is screwed up and you got to go through all these different channels just to talk to your coach that's sitting up in the box, that's a problem. So I don't know what he be saying up there. I've never liked the offensive coordinator being up in the box. I don't like it. I feel
It
like
had
sometimes, go ahead,
no, not to cut you off. It has its advantages because you get an all 22 feel
to
because you
see
can
to see the field.
see. But in the same time, like you just said, say if because say if something go out or something, so, you got to pick up a phone call. So he definitely need to get his ass on the field because,
Get
like
on
I
the
said,
field. Get on
like
the
we could
field.
be, stand by the sideline where you can stand in front where you can see everything. That's what Shanahan does. That's what all
Hmm
the play callers do. They sit right there so they can see the whole field. That way they can talk to the
Bec-
players. Hey, what do y'all
because
see?
you
What that
gotta.
I'm missing?
He got a whole lot of people that he sit up in that box with, right? I'm sure they are trusting people to him. Allow them to sit up in a box and get that view if that's what you need. But I just felt like as the offensive coordinator, you need to be out there with your guys in the heat of what's going on. You see, Mike Tomlin made the dude come out the box before he got fired. He had to come down on the sideline during the season. The guy who got fired on the field, I
Oh,
forgot Canada.
Matt Canada. Yeah, Matt
Right.
Canada.
But at first he was in the box. And Tomlin said, you gotta come down here. I just don't really I get like you say the benefits of sitting there in the view, but I just feel like for a new unit, for guys like everybody's learning, you're learning each other, you're learning new plays to just get a feel for each other. It's
Hmm.
better to be right there with your guys. And then maybe we don't have to wait until halftime to make adjustments. And then it goes on to Lamar. Because like a head coach, a quarterback is the same. Y'all get all the praise and you're going to get all the blame. That's just how it works out. Fair, unfair, no matter what quarterback you are, that's how it's going to work. When we look back at this game, we're going to point to, we can all say, oh my goodness, we should have ran the ball more. But we're also going to point to things that we think that Lamar could have done better. Lamar's just finished his sixth season, right?
Hmm.
So in your sixth season, we've won a lot of games. This is the second time that we've had the number one seed. All we've heard was this is a different team, this is different, this is different, only for the results to basically end up being a little bit better because you won one game, but then you get into the game from the Super Bowl and it's like everybody just pooped the bed, and I don't understand that.
Yeah.
I asked this question yesterday, like, what is it with Lamar? Was the moment too big for him? Like, what happened? Because at any point, he could have just been like, calm down. The same thing that I'm saying is how I felt after that Steelers game. I just felt like Lamar got too flustered, and not because it was something that Kansas City was doing to him. I just feel like he was in his own head. Like
Hmm.
I don't get it. I don't get why Lamar won't be Lamar. I don't care if people want you to pass like this or want to make an argument that you can pass with the best of them, right? I've been saying all season Lamar is a special talent. Lamar is special. Like that doesn't change at all. He's still special. I just wish that he would have got some of that juice on Sunday and shown how special he can really be. Because we don't know when he's going to get that opportunity again. Everybody can say get him next year, but we don't know that it's going to be a next year. We've
Oh, for
seen a
sure.
lot of teams go to the Super Bowl and miss the playoffs the next year, or go to the Super Bowl and have a crazy, like look at what happens to the Eagles, you
Yep.
know, and the Bengals dealt with the injuries and things. Like anything can happen. Every year is a different year, and next season is not going to be any easier, particularly in the AFC. When you look at the quarterbacks we have, the coaches that's coming in, it's going to be a totally different situation. I just really wish that somebody, whether I'm starting with Harbaugh, would have just grabbed the reins and said, "Look, we're not out of this game. Like, calm down. We gonna do this. Run the ball, did it like actually have a plan and stick with it. Lamar, be you. Be the guy that got you, because 9 times out of 10, you're gonna be the MVP. Be the guy that made everybody feel like you came in and you snatched that MVP trophy. Be that guy right now. Because if you can't be that guy right now, when you be that guy any other day, it really doesn't matter.
Right.
So for me, it starts with John Harbaugh, Todd Monken, and then Lamar.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Because
I agree.
that was a tough watch. Like I
Yeah.
just couldn't wrap my head around what was going on Sunday at all.
Yeah, Silas, every time we play the Chiefs, the Chiefs chases points instead of playing football. That's true. I just said that. Every time we play them, we go into blank mode.
Yeah, I
We
don't get
just,
it.
man, every
I don't
never
get it.
fails. Them and Pittsburgh, those two teams, we just every time we play them two, we just but it's worse with the Chiefs because it's just like we just feel like we just already lost the game. So as we get scored on, like we gotta still the 2021 game was the only game we didn't do that. We came back, we took our time, we stuck with everything, and
Hmm
we won the game. Like so, that's why I said every game the same way we came out against Houston, same way we should have did the same thing as Kansas City. Took
Exactly.
take the short pass, just take off, run the ball, boom, 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 boom. We ran the ball for 230 yards against the
hmm
Texans. Should have been the same. same
Same
game
formula.
plan. 'Cause like I said,
Yeah.
the defense they figured it out. They fixed whatever they needed to fix, and they was on it. And they was on it. I think
Hmm.
seeing Suggs come out there and all that gave them a new little juice, and they was ready to play it today. They said, "Nah, fuck this, man. We got to start getting pressure on Mahomes." Kelsey all of a sudden was non and void. So yeah, like I said, man, we only like was only team. I felt like the only team that could beat us in the postseason was us, and that's what happened. 'Cause we
And
had
that's
the
what
bet.
happened. Every loss that we've had this season, take out that Steelers, the second Steelers game, because people really didn't play. But every loss that we had, I feel like it was because of us. It was more of us and our mistakes than it was somebody just flat out beating us. You know.
Flat out, flat out.
Um.
What's
But move.
this?
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm about to read this comment. Then you can continue. They only let Lamar be Lamar when it was 2021. That's true. Well, in that particular game, yeah, he took that game over.
And you know, one more thing I want to say about the offense before we move on to this next topic.
Hmm.
And I need this answer for me because all throughout the season we heard how much control Lamar has of this offense. So
Right.
even with like blaming Harbaugh and Monken and things like that, I need to know whose decision was it to really just to not like to get away from running the ball? Like who did that? Because
Todd Monken.
if you're telling me at one point that Lamar has all this control, how do we know it wasn't Lamar that wanted to play that back and forth game with Pat Mahomes? I don't know. I'm just saying you can't tell me he got all this control and he can make all these changes and he can do XYZ, and then we get in a game like this, we're just going to point to the coaches. So that's why I'm saying I need somebody to explain to me, Todd Monken preferably, because John Harbaugh is not going to throw anybody under the bus, and I don't expect him to. If John Harbaugh came out there and said, "Look, I told them to do X, Y, Z, Lamar didn't do it," Todd, but like what? I think people will have a different opinion. I just think right now we don't know who was making a decision not to do what, and I just feel like you can't tell me Lamar has control during the season, and then you get into the playoffs and he don't. So that's my thing is like who really was controlling what he was doing out there? Was it Todd? Was it Lamar? Maybe we'll get that answer one day. I just don't know.
Yeah, my thing with that is what you're saying is a very fair and valid point. Because the quarterback do got a lot of control. Like he might have probably did want to pass, but at some point, you as the
You gotta
OC
reel him
got it.
in.
You got to like, hey man, look, I get it, I get it. Like we have nothing to prove, man. Let's just win this game. We have nothing to
Right.
prove. Let's just win this game. That's you gotta reel your players back, and that's what coach. That's why even though they're paid athletes, the coaches they still have coaching staffs for a reason. They're not just out there
Yeah.
just freestyling and just playing ball, calling their own. I mean, just everybody's doing their own thing. They still have coaches, position coaches for a reason. Even T. Martin
Hmm.
should have like, look, man, calm down, relax, take a deep breath,
Right.
take whatever's there. If you don't see it, go. Go through your progressions, then
Right.
take off, go. You know the old line. They look
He's shaky right now.
yeah, because Chris Jones is dominating John Simpson,
Hmm.
and that's no shame
Hmm.
in that. 'Cause that's an All Pro. That's probably the second or third best interior defensive lineman in the league. And, you know
Hmm.
how you want to rank it. So there's no shame in him beat. But even then, Joe D. Alexander's who I got a lot of respect for. He should have made adjustments with that too. So I'm gonna go
Hmm.
with that. He should have said, "Hey, we're gonna combo block him. We're gonna double him. We're gonna slow him down with screens, whatever. We're gonna
Hmm.
have John Simpson. Hey, you ain't getting it done, bro. Let's go with file late. Let's go with file late hay or something or Macari. You should have made an adjustment there too. You know, so it's
Hmm.
not just all on just Todd Monken. It's his staff too. The offensive line could have been a lot better, which would have helped
Hmm.
with some stuff as well. But yeah,
Yeah.
I guess but like I said, the OC definitely got make that final call. Like, nah, if you want to throw the ball, nah, we want to do it after we open up and hit them in the mouth with the run game. It all fall, like I said, it
Hmm.
all reverts back to
Goes
Harbaugh
together. Yeah.
and Monk at the because they're the coaches.
Hmm.
But go
Yeah.
ahead, Shannon.
So we've been talking about the defense, how well the defense has been great all season. You know what I mean? We've really only been able to complain about them in two games. Even with them having a bad start on Sunday, they were great in the second half. Like I said, that was more than enough for us to win that game. And with that being said, now we obviously have other teams who are interested in our coordinator. So how do you feel about Mike Macdonald interviewing with Washington and Seattle this week?
Oh, he earned it, man. He earned it. Like he earned it. The guy was phenomenal, man. Last year he started off a little rough because he was new. Everybody went about him out of town. Said, "Be patient, be patient." Then, like I said, he that was after that, man. Once he got his general in the middle, which is Roquan, things was just
Hmm.
popped off.
Mhm.
He was still doing pretty good before we got Roquan, but that solidified everything he needed. He had his Ray Lewis.
Mhm.
He earned it. Like I said, the defense has been amazing since he's been here. So he definitely earned it. If he takes the job, he deserves. Nobody's. I won't expect nobody to pass up on a raise or on promotion, which is both. So
Yeah.
if he do, we just gotta be I think Anthony Weaver's getting a look as well. So if we lose both of them, just just grab somebody else because I can think without deep with all our players and core, maybe Queen might be the only one that walks, depending on what he want. What he want. You will
Mhm.
have your whole core back for the most part. So you can just either promote Zach
Mhm.
or grab somebody else who's been around. Joe Cullen might be available. Grab him to come call the defense. He's been with the Ravens forever, so we'll
Mhm.
definitely have a plan. But if he do leave, he deserves it. But I definitely want to keep him back. I just want to make sure we keep Todd Marcus so we can have consistency on the offense. So yeah, like I said, if he take it, that's good for him because like I said, he earned it. But like I said, we'll see in a few days.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, ultimately, how do I feel? I'm happy for him. You know what I mean? Like we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, being concerned about losing either coordinator, and I explained then that I was more concerned about losing Todd Monken than I was about losing Mike because I just feel like we can always get a guy, and not that we like I said, the Dean Pease or the Greg Madisons of the world, but we can always find a guy to come in. And like you mentioned, Zach Orr. I mean, he was at the top of my list when I was just thinking about who could replace him, also understanding that he's now getting interviews too to be a defensive coordinator for teams. So we might have a lot of turnover defensively because even if Mike was to leave, he still might want to take a guy and make him his defensive coordinator. So
True.
it's going to be a lot of holes to fill there possibly. But ultimately, again, I'm happy for him. I've seen people saying like he shouldn't do it. He only has 2 years of experience as a defensive coordinator. And I'm like, no, who's going to turn down an opportunity if a team is offering you a head coaching position in the NFL? It's only 32 of them. And it's not like they're always available every year. So who wouldn't want that opportunity? And I heard, I don't know if it was an executive from Washington or an executive from Seattle, but they were just talking, like mentioning that they were interviewing them or him. And their response was, he's the Sean McVay of defense. And if teams feel that way, you're on a good path. So ultimately, I'm happy for him. He wasn't my biggest concern as far as losing a coordinator, but I wish him well. Whichever team, if he picks either or, I wish him well. And if he comes back, I'll be ready to welcome him back. He's done a great job since he's been here. A great job.
Oh, for sure, no doubt about it. Like I said, I would definitely like Mike McDonald back. Like I said, if we get a promotion in life, take it.
Hmm.
Read this last comment that we can roll about here.
Hmm.
People being hard on the mall in his first AFC championship game appearance. Rookie Flacco didn't win the first one. Took two more times until he got over the hump. That's a the only thing about that, like you said, Joe Flacco was a rookie. Lamar not a rookie anymore. So that's the only pushback I'll get on that. Anybody know I'm a Lamar stand, but that's the difference. But yeah, but in theory, you do have a point. Goodbye, been first AFC championship game. So it's definitely going to drive him more. But like Shannon said, things change. Hopefully, it can be like a 2012 year. If we don't get the number one seed, we get a 4 or 5 seed or something and go on a roll. Because that's when we are at our best, honestly. Both championships have been won when we were the first time we were the 5 seed in 2000, the second time we were the 4 seed. So hopefully it's that type of thing. And then it seems like a pattern every 12 years because the 2004, 24 seed that's coming up, that'll be officially
Hmm.
12. That'll be officially 12 years. So I don't know. It might finally be putting it all together in 2024. So I hope that's the case. I hope that's the case anyway.
Well, for me, with this comment, but it's like what you said. I don't think you could compare Flacco as a rookie to Lamar in his 6th year and about to win his second MVP. Like I don't think that it's wrong to have expectations for him. We've had the number one seed. This is our second time having the number one seed with Lamar. You know, we've had home playoff games. That's something Steve Biscotti has wanted. But to not have expectations for a guy that most consider to be top five, I don't think that that's wrong. I don't think any of us
True.
had a lot of expectations in 2008 when a rookie Flacco took over. I think we were surprised with a rookie coach and a rookie quarterback and doing what
Yeah.
we did and getting to the AFC Championship. I mean, it was like wow. Like if anything had we done at that point, it was like we already overachieved, right? Then you
Facts.
come back and you build upon that and you make the playoffs and you never lose a playoff game with Flacco in the first round. You get to this point, you get to the AFC Championship again in 2011, which was probably our best team. And like we know how good that team was that year, and to lose in the fashion that we lost in. Joe Flacco played his heart out, and then
And
to get
forget,
back there that next year, he played great again, and we won the Super Bowl. Once we won that game. So I just think the difference is you're talking about a 6-year quarterback versus a rookie quarterback.
yeah, he said I'd rather go through the wild card round. That's what it might take. It might gotta take that. It
Yeah.
might gotta take that. Like I said, we did better with the bye this time around because we won the first get the first
Hmm.
divisional game. Like I said yesterday, we just so we're getting closer. So we're getting closer. So that's always a sign. I'd rather be getting closer than being teams like the Patriots and all them like that. So
Hmm.
maybe next year maybe next year might be the year we finally break the ice. Uh, you know,
Hmm.
oh man.
All right. So the last question that we have, and we've been talking about John Harbaugh a lot on this episode. So my question for you is, if you were Steve Biscotti, are you putting John Harbaugh in a hot seat this offseason and going into next year?
You have to, and I hate to say it, you have to because him being comfortable is going to not do no good at all. It's going to be like, all
Hmm.
right, I'm good. I'm here. I won 150 games at the Super Bowl. That complacency will definitely hurt us. So you
Hmm.
definitely got to have that conversation. Like I said, he's definitely overall a good coach with the numbers and all that. But good coaches, you seen good coaches get let go all the time after a while.
Yeah,
Even
look what
with
the Titans just did.
yeah, yeah, Marvin Lawrence, he did number one in Cincinnati. Even Doug Peterson in Philly, he won a Super Bowl the second year,
Got
and
him
they
out of
just
there.
and so like I said, that should not dismiss. All that's what have you done for me lately? Like I said, the postseason we've been falling short because him
Hmm.
not being able to have his imprint on the game with his coordinators. Like so, definitely he definitely got to have that conversation. Like he already fired one coach that won a Super Bowl before of him,
Hmm.
so that's how I let you know he's not afraid to make that move because sometimes change is needed. So yeah, is he definitely got to be on the hot seat? I'm sorry.
And I totally agree. And as I said earlier, I have been a defender of John Harbaugh. Even spoke about this being making a point why this year was his best coaching job since he's been in Baltimore. But it's no way you can go into this off season into next season and not put John Harbaugh on a hot seat. And I find it interesting that we haven't heard from Harbaugh since that game ended, right? He hasn't done a press conference. I haven't seen anything or any quotes or anything.
I
I
saw the
find that
only
very
one he did one, not the controls. He did one after the game, which is
after the
required.
game. Well,
That's
I
it.
mean, that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. I
That's
know
it.
he did
That's
that
it.
one. I
That's
know he
it.
did that one on Sunday. He didn't do one yesterday when guys was talking to the media. Today is already almost 8 o'clock
He
Eastern time.
probably
He hasn't done
saved.
one today.
He probably saving it for the end of the year. Me, that's coming. When they all
Well,
talk
so
him
so
and
so my
him
so
and the
my
Costa.
yeah. So my point is this though. That's raising alarms for me that it's even taking this long because we don't even have a date of when it's going to be a press conference. I saw someone said online that he has to speak within a week of the game ending. So obviously, at some point this week before Sunday, he's going to speak if he still has a job. Let's not forget that when Steve Biscotti fired
Brian
Brian
Billick.
Billick, it was because he wanted to have more consistency. He wanted to make the playoffs more, right? You fire him, you bring in John Harbaugh, an unknown coach, and that's what we did. Consistently made the playoffs, right? The next thing, and won a Super Bowl. The next thing Steve Biscotti was talking about, he wanted more of was home playoff games, right? You go into the Lamar Jackson era, and what do we have? More home playoff games. But that hasn't changed anything for us. That hasn't changed anything for us in the postseason. We've had the number one seed 2 times in the John Harbaugh, Lamar Jackson era, and nothing has changed. We were complaining last year with Tyler Huntley being a quarterback and Dobbins and them not getting the touches that we felt like they should have got then. We complained about that before that as well. The only constant in all of this is John Harbaugh. So unfortunately for him, he's going to be on a hot seat and he should be on a hot seat. And this is coming from somebody who's I will debate a lot of people about why he deserves more respect than he gets. I don't think John Harbaugh is a bad head coach, but I can't understand why we keep getting to this point. And let's not forget Steve Biscotti was about to give him his walking papers in 2018. If it wasn't for Lamar and the switch that was flipped for the team at that point, John Harbaugh might not be our coach right now anyway.
Right.
again, I have a lot of respect for John Harbaugh, but unfortunately for him, the only constant that everybody can point to is him. So
Yeah.
he's going to have to answer to his bosses because Eric DeCosta's going to look at it like, bruh, I gave you everything you needed and more, and you couldn't get it done this year. Now, I'm not saying Eric DeCosta makes it the decision whether or not John Harbaugh stays, but I can't imagine Eric DeCosta's happy about the way the season ended after everything he had to go through. He was getting dragged more this offseason than anybody.
Yeah.
I can't believe that Steve Biscotti left that game happy. So I can guarantee that whatever conversations they've had this week with John Harbaugh, it didn't go over well. He probably will come in. The only way he's going to come in with a good attitude in his press conference is if he still has a job. And most likely, if he gets fired, we're probably not going to hear from him. But I just feel like he's going to be on a hot seat, and it's unfortunately it's time. It's like we can't. But I will say this: you fire John Harbaugh, the excuses run out for Lamar Jackson because you're firing them head coaches, you're
That's
switching
true.
offensive coordinators,
That's true.
and
That's true.
it's been everybody else but him.
That's
So
true.
fire John Harbaugh. Like I'm not debating no Ravens fan that feel like they want John Harbaugh gone. You want him gone, fine. But understand that the excuses run out for Lamar as well. That's just how I
That's
feel about that.
no, that's very true. Like you said, you talk to a guy that defends Lamar all the time. So yeah, that's very, very true, Shane. Like if you change over a whole new head coach and
Hmm.
you still fall short, it's like yeah, he definitely, you definitely can use that as an excuse no more. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I had no. He says how Shadi are best friends. I mean, supposedly him and DaCosta are best friends. We know that, but him and Bashadi, we don't know that. I know Bashadi likes him a little bit more than Billick, but Bashadi is
But
always
Billick
been.
also wasn't his guy. Like John Harbaugh is Steve's guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Steve didn't pick Brian. You
Oh,
know what I mean?
he was Art Baldell's guy. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, so he probably came in like now I'm the owner. Let me get the guy that I want. And remember, he wanted Garrett. What's his name? The one from
Jason
that was on
Garrett.
the Dallas.
Yeah,
Garrett
yeah,
Jason.
Jason
He
Garrett.
wanted him initially, but he turned the job down. And I'm thankful that we got John Harbaugh. But the time, the clock's starting to tick for John at this point. I'm sorry.
Salah said he's been exposed since Ray and Ed retired. In ways, yes, I have to agree. In ways, yes, he still did a
I
pretty
agree
good
and I don't
job.
agree. Yeah.
That's why I said in ways. Because
Yeah.
like I
I
said
don't feel like
before,
it's yeah. Go ahead.
yeah, because by him being a new head coach, first time head coach, he Ray and him kind of like held the saddle together. Because by him still finding his way, finally as a head coach, and because he had to get that respect first. Always respect. Everybody first heard that they're like, "You hired a special teams coach? Like, what the hell was wrong with Sleepy Shotty?" So he had to
Hmm.
finally get that respect. So Ray and him was able to take some of that, alleviate a lot of that pressure till he got his footing. Then he finally like
Hmm.
then the third or fourth year, we finally like, all right, okay, he can coach. So yeah, so in that aspect, I definitely agree. And then like you say, he don't have those leaders like that to lean on. Roquan's definitely doing his best. He's doing a great job trying to mimic his best Ray Lewis to try to keep everything together.
Hmm.
Some people it's just not the same. It's different when Ray and 20 talking to you. It's just a whole different
Yeah. And I don't know. I don't think it's fair to say that John Harbaugh has been exposed because honestly, if John Harbaugh was exposed, I don't think the Ravens would have had the success that we've had since they've been gone. You got to know they've been gone since we won a Super Bowl, both of them.
vibe.
And even though we've had mishaps and haven't had as much success in the playoffs, we have had a lot of changes. Like I said this a couple of weeks ago. We was talking about John when I was saying was this his best coaching job since he's been here. We watch other coaches struggle to transition when you lose particular guys like that. Those are Hall of Famers, right? A lot of teams can't recover when you lose Hall of Famers. I feel like the Ravens really never missed a beat. Even we've had down years, we've had a lot of injuries, we've had years we're fighting to the end to get into the playoffs. John Harbaugh teams never quit on him. They never quit on him. And I think that if they didn't respect him or didn't like him, I think we would see a whole lot more quit than we've seen. I think John Harbaugh's done a good job with changing a guard with a new era. He had a Super Bowl winning quarterback that he could have just rolled with Flacco and said, "Bump it, this is my guy," but he didn't. He went all in on Lamar, and continues to be all in on Lamar. I don't think it's necessarily fair to him to just say he's exposed. Like he's a good coach, and he's won Coach of the Year, since they left. Like get the number one seed 2 times, and then y'all will probably say, well, that's because of Lamar. Okay. So then when we're going to give Lamar the credit for that, now we got to talk about what Lamar's getting the blame for. That's what I'm saying. It's just too much when you play the blame game a lot of the times. But to me, I don't think John Harbaugh's been exposed. I think a lot of teams are different when you lose Hall of Famers.
That's very true. That's why I said certain aspects.
Yeah.
That's why I made that clear. Certain aspects, like you say, he still kept us staying competitive. We only had two losing seasons, and both were due to injury. So
Mm-hmm.
he has to get credit for that. But like you
Yeah.
said, just the moments and situational stuff. That's what that I can speak for a lot of people, and even yourself, Shan. That's what a lot of people get pissed off at because he don't step in and be like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, like Tomlin steps in and like, hey man, what the hell are you doing? Give Najee Harris his
Right.
ball.
Right.
Even Sean Payton, we could say we want about him, whatever, for us and whatever. But he used to get on Drew Brees and them all the time. Hey man, if you don't run this ball with Alvin Kamara, if you don't get a ball to Juice McAllister, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? You know what I mean? Yeah, he used to go to Greg Williams, man. If you don't put heat on Peyton Man, you feel me? That's
Mm-hmm.
where you come in at. That's where you come in at. So, we shall see. But everybody, Shannon, great show. Great shows on these. We'll do one more Thursday. Dave got some pretty good topics. Then we'll take a little break. We'll probably come back like right before free agency start. So we can start doing our homework on these draft prospects and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
pending free agency. So,
Mm-hmm.
after Thursday, we'll take a little hiatus. But everybody knew y'all know what to say, y'all know what to do, man. Like and subscribe, man. So Shad, anything you want to say before we wrap it up?
I do. When we started this podcast, I said let's use today as like a therapy session. We've all been mad, we've all been emotional for the past 2 days, and I feel like me and you, we talked it out, we got it out. We kind of pretty much feel the same about a lot of things. I just want to say that we've had a lot of different type of ways our seasons have ended, and I think we've all had different emotions. Like for me, I can say in 2006, I was disappointed. Um, to play a team with a quarterback like Peyton Manning, to be able to hold them to no touchdowns, to not be able to
Oh,
get a touchdown, like I was just like disappointed that
I,
we
w- I went to that
let.
game too, man. I was in the 12th
Yeah,
grade.
it's
I
like
never forget that, man. Whew.
it was so disappointing, right?
Yeah.
2011, it hurt. I think a lot of us left that game hurt because we went to New England and went toe to toe with the Patriots, and everybody knows who they are and were during that time. And not many people can go to Foxborough and win, let alone be in positions to win. And we had a chance to win the game and tie the game, and we couldn't. And that hurt me so bad. I couldn't even go to work the next day. Like it's not many times that things have happened in sports where it affected me like that. Like I was literally sick after 2011.
That was tough.
After the game on Sunday, I was angry. Like I haven't been that angry about sports in a long time. And I was angry, but I feel like this now. I always like to say, like, you can't have a testimony without a test. And I feel like a game like that for this young core that we have and we expect to be back, they need it. They need that. It don't feel good. Zay Flowers, I know it hurt. I know he felt the way. I know it's eating Lamar up. I know that it did not feel good for that game to end that way. But I will say that next season can look a lot different. And let's hope that the core of our team that's going to be back next year, let's hope that they use it as a learning experience. And let's just cut down on the mental mistakes, and we will be better because of this. So all is not lost on the great season that we had. A lot of us were bothered by how it ended, but ultimately we had a great season. You know what I mean? Like maybe like next year, let's get back to there and let's do it differently this time for real.
Yeah, Kick said, Trippy said the worst loss of ever said it probably can be that because I ended, but it's definitely like I said, the heartbreak definitely get better in time. Like I said, now they got something to feel. Now say no more taunting, secure
Yeah.
the football. Now Lamar know just like, hey man, I gotta be me at a 24/7. I don't give a shit what they talk about NFL Live, First Take, or whatever the
Mm-hmm.
hell we watch. I'm going to do
Mm-hmm.
what I got to do to win the football game. So you
Right.
know, and hopefully Todd Monk can realize I'm gonna call the game the same way I did at Georgia. It's
Mm-hmm.
the same game, just different levels. So, like I said, hopefully everybody has this. It's a good line spirit. Everybody get better. Hopefully Harbaugh, like, look, man, hey, next time I gotta be more fiery. Like I said, we still
Mm-hmm.
could be friends afterwards and get drinks, but we gotta be more fiery. We gotta
Right.
be more. I gotta be fire. I gotta tell you run the football. I gotta tell you make sure somebody covers Kelsey. and stuff like that. So, like I said, those things, those small things, we'll be sitting right here, having a recap would have been a much a good way, a better light. But like I said, man, only somebody got to win, somebody got to lose. And like Ray said,
Hmm.
after that 2011 loss, somebody gonna feel the same way in 2 weeks. So
Yeah.
only one team can truly be happy in this year, one fan base. So yeah, so great show, Shannon, great topics as usual. Like I said, she's the MVP. Make
Hmm.
sure y'all like, subscribe. Like I said, for those who can't watch it live, go ahead and check us out in the audio versions and stuff like that. If you missed us, sorry about the technical difficulties. Like I said, I done gave this computer 1,000 chances. I'm restricted to use one
Hmm.
phone, so I get another one. I tried it because I like to use my microphone, but
Right.
I'm
Right.
I'm gonna have to just do about it for a little minute. But yeah, sorry. Thank y'all for bearing with that. We'll be back Thursday. Like I said, Dave got some fire topics, and yeah, make sure y'all trade. We still gonna talk Ravens all day, every day, no matter what. Win, lose, draw. I'm your host, Justin P, my $1 million co-host, Shannon Finch. Love y'all. Like I said, we're gonna get through this, and we'll see y'all on Thursday. Be out.
Good night. Bye, Justin.